Robin Watkins here with the House of Wealth. We are an entrepreneur resource agency. We got Pastor Jackson here with Greater Grace, and today we're going to kind of talk about how the ministry coincides or relates to entrepreneurship and how they kind of similar. I'm going to let Pastor Jackson kind of introduce himself, and then we're going to roll with his story.
Well, good day, everybody, and it's good to be here with my friend Robin Watkins, who's such a great entrepreneur and great person. I just enjoy her presence and our conversation, and I'm glad to be here. So we just kind of talk about our story a little bit. I'm Pastor Lawrence Jackson, Greater Grace Church. We're in 1945 Centerpoint Parkway. We're here right here on this miracle campus, and I call it miracle campus because God has ordered our steps. And so one of the things we're going to talk about today is how God orders every one of your steps, even your missteps are ordered, because God takes all of you, He works together for our good. So I can't wait to get into this conversation with my friend to talk to you all.
So, Pastor Jackson, you spoke about prepare so we don't have to repair on Sunday. And I want you to kind of elaborate on that, and how does preparation really look in the field of ministry as well as just being as a leader? How does preparation look?
So preparation is everything, Robin. I mean, like without it, we would be flawed. And even though we all flawed to some degree, but preparation is respect for God. So anything that we do for God, I think we prepare so we won't have to repair. I think we spend so much time building back that we didn't take time to build in the first place. That's why I'm big on preparation. The Bible says in Daniel 6 that Daniel had an excellent spirit, and he was preferred amongst everybody because he had an excellent spirit, which means he was prepared. And I think that when we do anything, especially in the field of our spiritual walk with God, whether it's reading our Bible, whether it's studying, whether it is we're going to prepare to take on new territory, preparation is key. And if we don't do that, we end up failing at our task. And sometimes with that, we get frustrated with God because there are some things we can't prepare for. But in the meanwhile, we do prepare for that which we can.
I like that. Can you give me some principles, or like, what's the first step to preparation? Like, how do you get yourself in a mindset of preparation?
I think prayer.
Okay.
Prayer leads you to prep.
Yes.
Because prayer will focus you.
True.
Because I think what people do when they're trying to prepare, their mind is all over the place. So they have no one single thing that they're trying to focus on. And it's just hard for me to prepare because they have to pray. Prayer gives you directions. Once you pray, and then you go into action with your preparation period, which means you research that which you're trying to do in whatever area you can. There's no excuse for not researching now because we have the whole world ahead of us and at our disposal. So I think you do that, you research, and you mentally prepare. You pray, and then you mentally prepare by blocking those things out that will hinder you from preparing. So sometimes it means shutting off to yourself, finding your best time. I'm going to tell you about preparation. You got to find your best time to prepare because we don't prepare all day, but all of us have a general makeup. Right? I'm an early morning person. I may be up at 1 o'clock reading, but that's my prep time because it best fits me.
Yeah.
I'm not a night person. There's no way I'm prepared for nothing tonight but sleep because I know I'm going to sleep.
Yeah.
I don't even read my Bible at night because I'm going to sleep on it because my body shuts down. So if I pick up my Bible down, I'll be like,
sleeping with you.
Right. But in the morning, I know that's my time. So whereas you may be a morning person,
I'm a night person.
You're a night person, so you can prepare at night, right? So you do all of you can stay up at 1, 2 o'clock and write, and I get up at 1 o'clock to start writing, and I'll write to daybreak.
Yeah.
And then I'll go about my day, and I'll go to bed, and I'll do. So I think preparation is knowing who you are. It's doing your best study time and not trying to be like somebody else. And then after you do that, you continue in prep by your ongoing studies and your continual educating yourself on the matter which is at hand. I think when you do those things, God will bless the rest.
I believe so too. Another thing in entrepreneurship, and I learned that when you first get into it, transition into it, you're like, okay, I quit my job, now what? Or you find yourself like, okay, this is good, but she gave me this, or I can go and do that, or I can do this and do that. And you got scatterbrained, and you start to become this opportunist where everything seems like it's a good thing for you. You said something to me about being graced for the place, and that blessed my life. I thought about it. I was like, if God graced Mary to be at McDonald's making burgers, and every burger she made, her customers came back and gave her something, right? And one of her customers just say, "Hey, Mary, you need to open your own restaurant," And Mary go and open her own restaurant, right? God didn't tell her that, her customer did. So when she gets to the next restaurant, her customers didn't follow her. She don't get the joy. No, she can't pay her bills because she's now trying to buy equipment, but nobody's coming in. It's just the order is off because she's not graced for that place. She was graced for McDonald's. People was telling her she was better than that, better than this, better than that, but God had her there for whatever her reason was. Can you talk a little bit more about grace and how you came about greater grace?
Yeah, we don't. I think this is culturally too. Now, of course, I may speak from some things from a black perspective because I'm black.
Of course,
right. So my strength is in my perspective. I don't know a whole lot about other cultures and races, but I do know we oftentimes don't do a lot of prayer or analyzing before we jump on a matter. We just do it and say, especially spiritual people, we so saved, like we just like, oh, it's a building on the west side, so we're gonna get it for rent, right? So we're gonna get there. We ain't pray, we ain't say, God, am I grateful for this place?
Right.
We just said it's available. So we go out to whatever's available and we call it God.
True.
And then when God don't bless it, we be mad at God, saying, well, how come we couldn't grow here?
Right.
You wasn't graced for that place. I think, because the Bible says He gives us all a measure of grace, right? So I knew that when God sent me to Centerpoint, and upon sending me here, He kept proving you grace for this area. Now I've been in many areas, but when I got to this area, like ministry just took off, I had a grace for this area. I know what God got me. I know what God called me. Another pastor may say, I'm going to Centerpoint too. He may not do anything, but he got am I grateful for this particular spot in this area? So I think when I say grace for the place, and then wherever God grace you for, He gonna keep you in. If God grace you for, like where we are now, we'll talk about it later. It's a huge spot, but because God graced us for it, He provides. He takes care of it, and it's not like God won't bless you even if you're out of place. But man, the blessings of the Lord make it rich, and add no sorrow to it. So I asked God, just put me in a place where I'm graceful. I need a great example. You said a lady said, y'all open up your own business. And then she go open up a business, and what she was doing well there, they pushed her out of her place. And everything that sounds good and noble may not be a grace place for you. Am I in a grace place or not? And it's okay if you're not in a grace place to back out. Okay? One thing we don't do as a people, we're afraid to back out. Like we start something, we're gonna if it's dead, we're gonna stay with it to the end. We don't care if it ain't working. I don't want nobody to know that I don't quit nothing. Yes, I do quit something. Because if I look at it and it ain't working, bye, I'm gone. Going to the next thing because it ain't working. We got to learn how to say, I ain't have a grace for that. I had a restaurant before. Okay, I had 2 restaurants. And they worked, but it wore me out. And I didn't have a grace for it. Now, some people get restaurants, stay 30 years. I ain't have no grace for no restaurant because I just like eating. So I've been graced to go to restaurants.
I get it. Okay, another question I have for you, because you talked about it, but burnout. Like a lot of times we experience, and I'm not sure in the ministry, do you experience that where you're the man of many hats and you have so many responsibilities? Do you experience burnout? And if you do, like, what is your daily or your regimen to get out of it or to replenish or refresh yourself?
Burnout is inevitable whenever you do any task that you love. And here's the thin line. You love it so much you don't think about yourself. You think about the tasks that you have. You think about other people. You think about, God, if I'm not home, somebody's going to miss this. And so you really think about other people, and you burn yourself out. So at some point, you got to say, forget other people. You got to say, forget the task. Let me work on me. Because if I burn myself out continually, I'll be no good to nobody.
That's true.
So you got to force time to go rest, go relax, go chill, and intentionally do nothing. Like intentionally do nothing. Like have a day you doing. Even I'm not doing anything. I'm sitting and don't feel guilty about it. The thing is, you feel guilty, like, I could be doing something.
Right.
I'm being lazy. No, you're not being lazy. You're being wise. Take days and do absolute. Don't even talk about it. This day is only want to hear about church.
Yeah.
It's not a church day.
Yeah.
Like really, if somebody gets sick, they just be sick to tomorrow. Because I didn't make you sick. I'm just saying it's not my day. So if you can't have the other ministers come and see about you, you got to wait.
Yeah. Because nothing is actually something.
Right.
Nothing is something.
It's something.
That's something big.
And I tell them when I'm on vacation, I tell them, well, don't die this week. Because I'm telling you, if
you're gonna be dead.
Because I have to take care of myself.
Yeah.
In such a way, and I had a hard time with this. This is hard for me because I'm a worker.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a like overachiever, overwork. I'll get up at 6 a.m, come to church.
Yeah.
I'll leave at 7 o'clock at night, and when I get home, I'm through.
Yeah.
I'm done. So it's necessary that we have a burnout plan too. By the way.
And burnout for me doesn't look like just doing too much. Most of the time, it's in my mind. Like I'll sit my nothing time. Like if I work from Monday to Friday and I'm off on Saturday and I'm not doing anything, I'll run myself crazy in my own head. Like, oh, I need to do this. Oh, I need to do that. I got to do this. I ain't done this since this. I don't have the energy to even produce anything because I'm running myself crazy in my head. So having a burnout plan is super important. And maybe one day I can sit down with you and compose my burnout plan and have other people join us to do the same thing. Let's do that.
And everybody's doing vision walls, right? And they're doing vision boards and all this kind of stuff. You need to do a burnout plan with that because you got a board and no burnout plan.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to become bored, frustrated, angry, mad, irritated. You won't be no good to anybody. So you have to have a burnout plan. Like on this day, I choose to do this. On this day, I'm actually off. On this day, I'm actually going to do this. This is the day I'll do that. I'm going to work until this time. I'm going to quit it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I know we're all after something, but we have to have a method of a burnout plan where we say, hey, I can't kill myself doing this.
Yeah. And it goes back to the preparation. Planning is part of preparation.
Yes.
To make sure you have prayer and then make sure you planning as well. Right. And planning according to the prayer and what God is telling you to do.
That's very true.
So I like that. Oh, leadership. What I want to know, like, and this is my last question, but I want to know what are some the key characteristics of a great leader to you?
Oh Lord, the volume of it is so intense because there's so many qualifiers that people may use for a great leader. Mm-hmm. And you can read books and they'll say 10 steps to a great leader, 5 steps to a great leader, 30 steps to a great leader. To me, the greatest leader is the leader who knows who they are. You're a great leader when you know who you are. It's not about your skill, your education. It's not about how many classes you've taken. Because you can be a great leader and never taking any classes. But when you know who you are, you know what God has called you to do, you become relentless. Mm-hmm. And when you are the leader, and the reason I said that is because when you know who you are, you're not vying to prove to people you're a leader. The worst leader to me is one who got to prove they're a leader because you're frustrated, you're fussing at everybody, you just got leader syndrome.
Right.
Really.
Leader syndrome, that's a thing.
Yeah, it is now. You got leader syndrome, right? Well, you just got to prove to everybody you're a leader. So you're going to be, I'm the leader. There's no need to do that when you are and you know who you are. Because your works will speak more than your word. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So all you have to do is do the work. People at my church, they know I'm the leader here. I never have to say I'm the leader here, but they see the work. Mm-hmm. Because if you're leading or the leader, you ought to be leading. Mm-hmm. Leading becomes automatic. That's because you know who you are and you know what God has called you to do. And you're not threatened by other people and other leaders in ministry with you. You're not threatened because you understand your role. That I'm just the chief among servants, and that's all. I'm no greater than anybody. I'm just the chief among servants. I mean, God calls somebody to lead things because that's his order. Other than that, somebody has to be the decision maker and talk about things and kind of pull the people through. But other than that, there's not many steps I can tell you. Great leaders do this. Great leaders spend 18 hours a day in the book. Great leaders don't never go to sleep. Well, you're a crazy leader because I'm going to sleep and I see you in the morning. But a great leader knows who they are.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, let's just take about 3 minutes and kind of just talk about who you are and a little bit about your past, your childhood, and what led you to this position in place.
Lord, that's a long
I know.
That's a long 3 minutes because
It don't gotta be 3. I just set the bar.
sometimes I don't know who I am, but I'm gonna tell you, I grew up in a community called Vinesville, Alabama. I'm sure you don't know about that because you're from the country. Vinesville's country too. But
Thank you.
I live in Birmingham, right? So I wonder why people be saying when we go somewhere, we be like, "That's the country." No, Birmingham the country too.
Yeah, it really is. That's okay. Let them think what they think.
Right. So anyway, nevertheless, I grew up in Vinesville. A lot of times my life was complex because I grew up not knowing who I was, what God wanted from me, but I kind of had an idea, and I knew ministry would be a part of my life. It's the way God took me. Yeah, I was young, and I would walk to Vacation Bible School, and I would hang around church, and I would just love church. I wasn't preaching at the time. I just, it was just my tradition. My mom said before I started preaching, I was preaching in the shower,
Wow.
and I'd be in the holler, the Lord, and just so she, matter of fact, she told me that my aunt, she didn't tell me until about 10 years in preaching that my aunt wrote a letter told I was going to be a preacher, but she didn't want to tell me because she didn't want that to influence the decision that I had to make about God calling me. So I was called to preach in 1991. Okay. And the whole calling, that's why I said 3 minutes, but let me tell you what happened. The whole calling, Robin, was strange. And my whole life been like a favor. When I say I got crazy favor on my life, I just got crazy favor because when I was called to preach, I lived down the street from Mouse College. And when I was in high school, I used to go to Mouse College and sing in the choir. They didn't know I was in high school because nobody ever asked me. I didn't do rehearsal. And I guess they thought I was a student. So, I would sing with them, travel with them. And then I graduated from high school and kept going to a Mouse to get in choir. I wouldn't even go to school. I was just in the choir. So I love music. And I had a friend there. She's a sister of mine, today, Constance Wyndham. At that time, she's Constance Blakely, now married to a great guy here. But Constance was coming to my house with her sister T and Paulette. I guess all the was in the crowd most, and so we're all family now, right? But it's strange because Constance was coming. I met them in Mouse College Choir illegally. I was illegal. It was legal.
Right.
So one day she said to me, "Why don't you go to church with us?" And I said, "Sure." Well, I lived down the street. I ain't have no car. I had nothing. She said, "I'll pick you up." Right. Constance picked me up and took me to my Hebrew Baptist church in Graysville. Is where they were going to church. Okay. So I went to church there, got in the choir, and was singing with them. And then there God called me to preach. All because he put Constance in a place to transport me to the church where I would recognize my calling. God sent one person, which my sister that I love dearly, I owe my life because my life started there, took me to church. And there he had me to know that I've been called to preach. I told that pastor at the time, Pastor Greg Mullen, who was there, is still a friend of mine today. I said, "Man, God's called me to preach." And so we talked about it. And I ended up going to Colorado, took my niece home. And went to Colorado, took my niece home, and my mom was going to send me up there to kind of take my niece back. She put me on a bus. And when I got there, Mama didn't let me come back too fast, so I ain't have no ticket back home. So I said, "Well, hey, let me try to make some out of my life here." 6 months I stayed in Colorado. I knew it wasn't for me. I knew God had more for me to do. And I said, I want to come home so bad, but I ain't have no money. I started working at a place called Berman's Leather Store. And I started working there in the mall, Citadel Mall in Colorado Springs. But I guess I don't know what I do with my money. It wasn't much money because I couldn't buy a ticket. So I just wanted to go home. And I joined the church, though. I was at St. John Baptist Church. Mm-hmm. Yeah, St. John Baptist Church. Matter of fact, I'm going to back up because I was going to call it preach when I got back. St. John Baptist Church. I joined that church. And Pastor M.E. Provey, I think was his name. Yeah, Provey. Yeah, so he preaching, I was all in the choir again at St. John. I'm always in the choir. In the choir St. John. Met a lot of people there and wanted to come home. So I met this guy and Greg and all of them were friends. And one Sunday, I needed a ride to church. And the guy who came to pick me up, he was talking to me, and he said, man, where you from? And I said, I'm from Birmingham, Alabama. I said, I really want to go home. I said, he said, well, how long you been up there? I said, 6 months. I said, man, if I can go home, I would. He was like, man, ironically, my wife and I headed to Montgomery, Alabama. She's going to a conference first, and we're going to a reunion. And he said, I'm driving, me and my daughter. He said, but my wife is flying, we're going to ride back together. I said, can I ride with you? He said, sure. I said, you give me to Montgomery, I promise I'll get a ride home. He was like, no, I'll take you where you're going. This man drove me from Colorado Springs, Colorado, all the way to Graysville, Alabama, to drop me off. My godmother, Geneva, at that time, she's deceased. She took me in because I had nowhere to go when I got there. She let me live with her. I was sleeping on the floor. God's sister Erica, Geneva, living in Instant. She took me in. My godmother, this guy dropped me off and gave me a card. He said, man, I said, man, I appreciate it. So he said, here's my card. He was in the Army. I called that Air Force Base the day after they said thanks, and I had my sister call too, and they said they had never heard of this guy. To this day, I have never been able to reach this guy again.
Wow.
And his name, I gave him his name, I gave him the card. They said, we've never heard of him. Unbelievable. Wow. And so it was that started my preaching. And from there, I ended up meeting Pastor Quinn Hammonds, joined the Antioch Church, got called to a church. One thing led to another. And
Sunday, you talked about hiding. You remember you talked about hiding?
Wow.
Yeah, and you were saying how, and I thought about it a little more, and I was like, it could go both ways. Sometimes we as entrepreneurs, we find ourselves, or leaders, period, we find ourselves wanting to be the forefront. We want to be the spotlight. We want to be the person. We want to be the one they see. And it's the church. I'm the pastor. I want to be the face of it. This is my company. I started. God gave this to me. You know, and there's also this person that'll take the back row too. When God needs them to be forefront, they're so shy, reserved, but don't feel like they're ready or prepared, and they want to take the back seat when God is calling them to move forward. What do you say about that, and how does that relate to hiding?
Embrace hiding. Enjoy hiding. Love hiding. And thank God that He hides you for certain periods. Because oftentimes the elevation of being exposed brings about an eerie life, eerie feeling, because you got to deal with so much. I think God hides us to prepare us for the higher heights. You know, He has to hide us for a season, because in that season we're developed. In that season we learn about us and we learn about people. So He hides us and He allows us to see that people really don't care about us. I know that sounds cold, but God will allow people to turn against you so you can see the heart of people. So you won't have so much faith in people. You know, a good rumor is medicine when you go higher. I mean, I know people think it hurts you, but a good rumor is medicine, because it teaches you things that nothing else can teach you, and it prepares you for what people really think and what they do. Because the higher God takes you, the more enemies you bring along the way. And these enemies are not enemies that you made. They're enemies that were made because of what God has done for you. So I think hiding is a great place. God hid me in ministry a long time. I was never out there. My church, I started it, and for years we did nothing. I mean, we grew a little, but I told God I was tired. I said, because I saw where God was taking me, and it hurts you when God shows you something and you don't see it. You know, you wrestle God not to show you, because He will show you a promise and then put you in a pause. You know, and then like the pause, it's a long time. You want God to hit play. You say, I can't hit play yet because I need you to go through a few things. So I was like, God, when are we gonna grow? And I'm saying, I'm ready to go. And I was comparison, because I'm wise comparison, right? I was comparing myself to other ministries. That's these other preachers, because we snitch a lot on. People don't know how much we snitch on them to God, but we really snitch a God on people. Right. And we said they go to the club and they party and they ain't no good, and you bless them. How come you can't bless me? And God like, why you snitching? We try snitching with the Lord.
For me, I'm more confident. I'm like, I'm better than them.
Right.
I speak better. I act better. I serve. I'm going down my list.
And I'm paying my tithe and all.
I'm doing everything.
And then you gonna let me do all this? You ain't doing nothing.
And you ain't gonna do nothing.
I mean, bro, this is what we have.
Right.
Exactly.
That's
how you want to talk to God, right?
Exactly.
But then God said you had to appreciate me hiding you because you weren't ready for the exposure.
True.
The exposure at that time would have killed you because you would have been so arrogant you couldn't handle it. And your motive wasn't right and you weren't pure. But now that I got your heart ready for your destiny, let me allow them to collide now. So God orders the steps. And sometimes we're going too fast. He had to slow us down. Sometimes the destiny is too fast. He slows the destiny down. Because there's a certain timing that God has, and he has perfect timing. Right? So there's a timing that God has that's always perfect. And they all got to meet. If they don't meet at the same time, it's disaster. And but our frustration is we're human. And we always want to possess these humanistic elements about us that will say to us, hey, I want what I want now because I just want to grab it now, and I see it, and I want it. And God says, I know you want it, and I'm showing you you're going to get it, but you got to have patience to wait.
Right.
And so this hiding is very important, and he's helping us. Talking about it Sunday, he's helping us by hiding us. Hey, Rob, you know what? You've been interviewing me for a while today, and I just want to flip the script a little bit. I'm a little off the cuff on stuff, so this may not be planned, but I think I'm planning things work.
For sure.
I want to ask you a few questions.
I would love that.
Your generation. I want to talk about your generation.
Okay.
I as a pastor, of course, we have a myriad of ages. Our church, we've been really blessed. Teens, seniors, and all in between. So there's a plethora of ages. But I want to talk to you about your generation, church-wise. You've been in church, and I'm sure you've seen a lot in church. I know you still go. I know you have a history of church. Your father's a pastor, and a great friend of mine. Great friend of mine. So I'm grateful to him too, because matter of fact, let me just say, because of your father, I ended up at High Ground, ended up preaching in great places, meeting Bishop Watkins and several others who are well-named people. Your father invited me, so that's my friend for life. I thank God for Bishop Carroll. Having said that, I want to talk about how they feel about church, because people will talk to you about church in a way that they may not talk to me as a pastor.
Okay.
It's a big turn-off for church for some people. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
And I want to talk about that because we do want to draw people. And we can't draw people if we don't figure out what's wrong and what can we do better. So can you help us with that?
I hear that. And you actually answer your own questions if you didn't know that. But before, you were the one who told me that a lot of times people in the church focus so much on being churchy that they forget to be godly. And this generation can see beyond the break. We can see beyond the facade. We can see beyond what you're saying and how you dress, and we like to, they say seeing is believing, but experience is believing. And when I feel your energy and it don't match the outfit you got on, something in me is like, something's off. And you coming to me as my teacher, but you're not open to me like, look, I'm just wearing this because this is what I got to wear to be da-da-da-da. But when you come authentic, you come clean, you come naked, like, I'm flawed too, I need hugs too. Then we as a generation are open to that more so than you being the leader or the head teaching us how to be. First, be my friend, know where I am, meet me where I am, and then I'm more open to coming to wherever you lead me. But you don't see that a lot in churches now. It's more so, how we can fix you when you need to be fixed too, and let's work together on fixing. I was in a meeting not too long ago where it was set up as for everyone, but it wasn't for everyone. It was set up for us to talk to a person and be talked back to. And it's openness. The body of Christ is one. If the brain don't communicate with the foot, then where's the body going? You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a disassociation at some point. And opening up to know that we're one. There's no one head. There's no one leader. Sometimes the hand has to do things that the foot ain't involved in. So we all have to lead at some point. And respecting that this generation is, we're not y'all. And the ones after us are not us. But finding the common denominator, and like you said, knowing your role, knowing your position, and what you play, then we can work together. And not saying, well, I'm older than you, so y'all got to do what we say. Or I've been in church 100 years, so you don't know nothing. When God could have gave them a vision that surpasses all of the things you've ever experienced in one day. It's for me, I feel like it's accepting the person or the people as they are. And no generation is all the same because you're a part of a generation. But I feel like the break came from the fakeness, the pretending, the show, the transition into technology, and making sure that we look good on the live, and make sure that we say only the stuff so we don't hurt nobody's feelings, and rip the Band-Aid off. Let's be real here. And this generation of people, we're in the middle, so we see both sides. It's the duality. We can see real and we can see what's not real, and we just not rocking with what's not real.
Well, that makes a lot of sense to me now, and it puts things in perspective. So, and just so our listening audience will know, we are in the Grace Cafe. And so if y'all need to know what, it's our ice machine. We got a good ice machine. Yeah. Crush ice. Come back and get some on Sunday. You'll enjoy it. And you can get Christ and ice. Amen. That sounds good. You can get Christ and ice at Greater Grace.
Christ and ice. Yeah. And, I like that.
I mean, ice like ice, not ice.
Not like that ice, but the crushed ice.
The crushed ice, yeah. Help me out. I don't want to be fooled.
They said they got ice over there. Yeah, no.
So, but anyway, you've been in our church before, and the atmosphere is relaxed.
Yes.
The tension is not there.
Right.
One thing I know that I love, the tension is not there. People come in and they're more relaxed. They ain't trying to be churchy.
True.
There's an approach to reaching people. And when you're teaching to people, I think for years preachers preach at people, right? Yeah. Instead of talking to people. I believe you just talk to people. My approach may be different. And I'm preachery, that I'm preachery, I'll teach, but then I do all the clothes and stuff, I'm preachery.
Yeah. True.
But I'm loving
True.
So much in this thing. Because my young people come to me, I grab them out of the church, love on them, I make sure they have a place, everybody's included. Now, it's not the perfect church. There's no perfect church. What I'm saying is, I want this generation to know that church is good for them, But I think we lost them along the way because this generation is different. They want answers, Our parents and grandparents, they didn't ask questions, whatever was said, we take it verbatim. These young people, they want answers. Like, hey, tell me why. Tell me this, because they got more info.
Yeah, and that causes a challenge too, though.
It does.
Because a lot of times I've been in a lot of different places where people or younger people would ask a question and the older people didn't have the answer. The leader didn't know. And instead of saying, give me time to research that, I'm not aware right now, they took offense.
I rebuke you in the name of Jesus, you demon. Why are you questioning God?
Yeah, and it's like, let me be quiet.
Right.
I don't want to.
No.
I don't want to offend.
I want to rebuke you. If I don't know it, let me find out.
Yeah,
I'll give him and I'll find out. But I think it's okay to be a channel of information to this generation, because sometimes we got to defend the faith, and now we're being made to defend the faith, which we never had to do. Because our generation, our parents, they just said, "Pat Rem said."
And that's it.
Rem said the Lord wearing blue today, and he wearing blue.
Period.
Period. Well, how you know he wearing blue? He ain't wearing anything. Well, he does. Rem said it.
Right.
The devil beating his wife, and the devil beating his wife. That kind of carrying on.
Yeah.
Because people just sell things. I think it makes us study and it makes us prepare more. But this generation, now we've been blessed with young people in our church. I don't complain so much.
For sure.
We got a lot of young people. A lot of young people in our church. Right? Glad to have them. And but I think for churches who struggle with getting this generation back in church, I think there's an approach that you have to take.
And I was going to ask you about, what was it, Grace Nation?
Yes.
Yes, and building a home and a space for these people to come and feel welcome and at home. And I like that. I think that's good because people need a place to go. And a lot of times these churches, they ask for the young people to come in, but number one, they don't have anything for them to do. These young people are set up to work technology and, the cameras and the computers and things like that, microphones. And if you're not evolving, they're like, okay, I don't get it. They don't do. Yeah, they don't know. They don't feel home. They don't feel like they have a place in the ministry. And the fact that you're building that space and that place, I like that. And I feel like that makes people feel welcome. And they see now, okay, I can come in and get to work. I can come in and do something.
Yes, and I love it. And I'm looking for those people who still come to help scout out that talent for my youth. Be forward thinkers. I'm trying to build forward thinkers, which means you don't have to always come to me and say, can I? Or you want to come to me and say, I mean, yes, it's okay to come to me and say, is this appropriate? But I don't want to be your thought initiator. I need you to initiate thought on your own. Pastor, I'm thinking about this. It works. Like a young lady at our church sent me a whole proposal for our church because it's so big, right? She sent me a whole proposal yesterday. And they're talking about how we can rent space at our church. And talking about how it benefit the church and benefit the community, how you can use all this space. It's a whole proposal. That's a forward thinker. That's not about saying to me, Pastor, I thought about this and I go do it. No, she said, let me do it and give it to you and then let's tweak it and make sure it works. This kind of things we need somebody, what I use even, a talent acquisition person come in and say, hey, what are you good at? You get on the mics on this Sunday. You get on the mic, you do this Sunday. You work the videos this Sunday. Somebody has to do that. And when it's not done, of course, the pastor get a bad rap, but the pastor he need people to come in and say, let me help you with this, or let me help you produce this. Let me help you do this. So I think, and even what we're doing now, things like this, that young people can interview people, learn how to be news anchors and things like that, create I want to say a passion for them to go out to that destiny. Some of them never knew they would like to interview until they do it at church. But I went to school, to learn these things because I want to be the best I can do. I'm going for journalism, perhaps.
And a lot of times people see it as journalism and, that look good. But it's totally different when you get in it. It's nothing like it look. It look easy. It's not easy.
No, they just see the people on the news talking about, well, I'm down here on 3rd Avenue West and they got chickens crossing the road. And
that ain't easy.
No, it's
you got a chicken nailing on your ankle, you can't move. You got to smile, look cute, and hey, let's talk about it.
You can't kick the chicken like
you scared they shooting me. You can't really move.
Well,
you just
true.
gotta, because you on the clock. These people paying you.
So you gotta look like you. I get you.
Yeah.
So I think if we reach this generation through their passions, through their desires, and I know we got a generation that helps. If your church ain't doing nothing, this young generation, they don't want to come. If you ain't feeding somebody, if you ain't helping somebody, if you ain't doing community outreach, they got nothing for it. This is not the Men's Day, Women's Day generation. This is not the 100 women has.
You're talking about them so bad.
I'm so sorry. I'm sure I got emails. But anyway,
it's okay.
I just mean it like that. I told them to go and advertise.
Yeah, you did. You did.
But what I'm saying is, we need to do things that matter.
True. And that makes sense. And another thing is communication. I remember growing up that we couldn't talk to the pastor. We couldn't have even Bible study. It was Bible study, but he was still teaching, and you couldn't really well, wait a minute. That's not what they said,
You
or
can ask questions.
I get you saying that, but what if it was this? Let's challenge that. Or, I'm having trouble with this. It was always like, don't talk. Just sit still and come to church and do the motion. And I think that hindered and also created some type of church hurt because now when I need somebody to talk to, the very place I've been at Bible study, choir rehearsal twice a week, service morning, noon, and night. You've been there all week. I can't even come to you to ask about a simple question, So that hurt. People have heard different ways, but just some of the things that I experienced. And dealing with it, just having an open dialogue, having an open door. You open the door for me to come into here. Why the door closed once I get in here? You know what I'm saying?
So
keep the door open and I can ask questions. I can come to you. If I just need a hug today, I feel like I can come to the church and get exactly what I need. And when you were saying build a house, that's how I felt with building a house of wealth. A lot of people come in and they focus on, wealth. They got money. They got, no, it's not about the money. For me, riches and monetary things are a portion of wealth, but wealth is being abundant in all areas. What is money when you don't have peace? What is peace when you don't have joy? What is favor if you lack somewhere else? It's having the perfect balance of everything you need under one house. And I may not have the joy. You may have joy, and here I am with all this love. And I can give you a little love, but you just provide me a little joy. And we barter what God gave us so that we'll all have enough, if that makes sense. Kind of like preparing a table, but we use what we have. And building, it's not about the wealth, it's about the house. And if you don't get the house in order, you won't be able to generate no wealth. It won't be anything. So for me, building a place where people are comfortable being naked, walking around naked, and not physically naked, but just, I got scars on my arm where I've been trying to commit suicide, or, my hair falling out because I got cancer, God forbid, and not feel like I gotta put a wig on, I gotta hide my arms, or I got tattoos everywhere. I want to come in here and just, do my job. I don't want nobody to see that I've been through nothing. No, I want you to feel good with, I've been through that. I'm still here. In church, wasn't like that. You had to hide your scars. You don't want people to know you ever been nowhere. You've always been holy. And this generation was exposed to a lot of stuff really fast.
Church majored in faking.
True.
Yeah. True. Been fake so long until by the time you try to become real, everything seemed fake.
True.
So even the genuine people seem fake because we faked so long. I've always been a real pastor, real. I'm so down to earth with the people I pastor. Really, maybe some people may not ever join here because I'm so down to earth.
And it's okay.
But it's okay. It's not your place. Because I know if you're looking for a stiff neck church, this is not your church.
Right.
I want you to go somewhere else because I'm not. Open the Bible, grind the fire, brothers and sisters, you're going to hell. I'm not that guy. I mean, if you want that guy or girl, I'm sure they're out there.
Yeah.
You go down there and join Stiff Neck Baptist Church, and they'll take you in.
That's good.
But I want a relaxed church. Relax. Let's hear the word.
Mm-hmm.
And let's paint a picture of Jesus that we see vividly, and not from our flesh point of view.
True. Amen.
I'm not gonna paint a mad picture of Jesus because you mad at everybody. You want Jesus to be mad at everybody. I'm not gonna paint that picture. He loves us, and even in our wrong, he doesn't have to be mad at us or mean to us because his word is his word.
Right.
His law is his law. They don't change. So they're executed regardless. So he ain't got to be mad at you to execute. That's what I'm trying to say to people. He loves you. I don't care who you are. He loves you so much, he died for you. And so because he died for you, love you so much, he does not have to prove that by whipping you and beating you. And that's what we do with the word of God sometimes. We hate people. And we hate certain groups of people, sex people, and we try to bring that spirit to the church because that's how we feel.
Right.
Most of the time, we're talking about ourselves. We're not even talking about Jesus no more. We preach from our own flesh.
Yep.
It's not even Jesus, it's us.
Yeah. Right.
And so Jesus just got away and said, hey, you're your own Jesus at this point. You got it. If you want me to anoint it, though, present me for who I am and not who you want me to be. So
that's good.
I get you. And you have been helped me because I want to reach people in this generation. I wish you could do more, but I know you can't because
you are.
Because,
No, what?
When you live here, this is your home away from home.
Yeah, I'm here. Something else I was gonna ask you about church.
But if we're gonna engage and keep an active youth ministry, it's hard. Youth ministries are one of the toughest ministries in the church because youth are so. The reason I say that is because not that they're tough. It's just that they're so, they change a lot. See, they're in this phase. So they want this today, this tomorrow, this day. And so you got to keep up, basically.
Yeah, that. You have to have some people.
You got to have somebody to keep up.
For their place.
You got to be graced to keep up.
Yeah, because kids, children, that's not just something you can go and do.
No,
it's not just a job
you gotta
to go and do.
It takes time and love and effort.
If you want to be effective.
If you want to be effective.
Yeah.
Because they change a lot. And they like this today and they want this tomorrow. But you give them the stabilization of the word. And then you build, the word is your center, right? And then you add things like carnivals and things like that and trips and things like that around. But the word is always the center. So if everything else crumbles, the center is always there.
And being mindful of the people you place around them too.
Very mindful of that, especially this day and time.
If you don't, then they'll miss the whole experience.
Yeah.
You were talking about getting children in, and I remember the church I went to, they had no problem getting them to come or whatever, but that focal point was just, oh, these kids bad, or these women they out in the street, and this and that, and that. It was like just preaching at them, like you said, and how we can fix people when everybody got something.
Don't try to fix everybody.
Yeah, it's not no one's just perfect like that.
That blessed my life.
Yeah, so and Pastor Mike said you can't clean a fish until you catch it. And that, when I say that blessed my life, that absolutely blessed my life because a lot of times we focus on a fish fry and cleaning is the fish, but you ain't even caught it yet.
Right.
You know, if you
Right.
can't get the fish in there, don't worry about what you're gonna do later.
Well, this new generation, now this church, they don't want to clean nothing. They want to catch it and they want to already be ready.
You gotta do
And
the
they
work.
gotta do any cleaning. They send it back in the water and send. We go to another church because we want you to choir ready, we want you usher ready, we want you singing ready, we want you preaching ready, we want you missionary ready. Whatever we want you to come in here microwave. We want microwave with Christians. Put them in the water, put them in the microwave, add water and stir. 3 minutes. Why? Because we're more concerned about the work than we are their worth. You know what I'm saying? As long as you can work for our church, we don't care what you're going through personally. We don't care if you catch your hell at home. But as long as you can perform on Sundays and help us get through and help our offering for the day, baby, we good. Now what you're going through, we don't even care. You got to get out of that kind of stuff. That's a bad environment to be in. Because you need somebody to care about you, your total man. Like if you're distraught, if you're hurt, then the pastor or whoever sits you down, let me see about you. Forget the work. Forget all this stuff. Let me see about you. Because internally, you're dying, right? Externally, you're put on the front. And everybody's clapping for you in church, and you're hurting inside because nobody cares about you for real. You're just a mere assignment. You're just a mere promotion piece. And you make a good promotion piece for our church. You know, you look the part, you sing good, but you're suffering in silence. But nobody cares as long as you sing. You know, and I don't know what we do. If you don't sing, then we don't. No. You got to care about people first, and the gifts next.
It's just like building a house and talking about putting a roof on there, and you ain't got no walls, you ain't got no structure. It's not. It's the order. It's the order. So that makes sense.
But unfortunately, most people are addicted to that kind of ministry. They become addicted to it because they want the glamour and they want the lights, and so they would suffer with catching all kind of hell. As long as you let me in and do this, so people can see me and they can see me being fake. If they can just give me a platform. If you just give me a platform, I don't care what I'm going through. My platform, because they think the platform will hide their pain. Your platform is only going to elevate your pain. Because when you come down, the pain is still there. And then you realize I'm around all these people and nobody's willing to help. You deal with the pain first, the platform will come.
Okay. So if there's a young person, or someone trying to find their way, how do they find you, and how do they get to Greater Grace?
Listen, they come to Centerpoint. That's where we are, 1945 Centerpoint Parkway. If they're tech savvy, they can go to igotograce.org. I Go to Grace on Facebook. I mean, like, we do the social media stuff. They do it. I'm not good at it. But God will send me somebody. Matter of fact, I sense in my spirit somebody in this room.
Okay. Oh,
God
there they go. Thank you.
So listen. So God will send somebody to help me with this tech stuff.
For sure.
Right? Because we need to be on the YouTube. We do YouTube and all we do is tech stuff, website. But they can reach us by coming to the church on Sundays at 10 o'clock a.m. We do have church available.
Okay.
Great church. And they can sit in regular church. And we have this facility is great. There's a gym next door. Life center, baseball field, soccer field. There's, classrooms upstairs for our youth. We're getting ready to open up a new college center. So that people can come from the community to apply for college and they can fill out their FAFSA and all that kind of stuff, and we'll have somebody here to help them to make sure they choose the right college. Some people get nervous on the college campus and they'll feel better by coming here where they're not pressured, And so we want them to make the right decisions. And so several other things we're getting ready to do here to kind of cater to our young people. So we love it. And on the 22nd of July, we're having a fun day. We call it Fun on the Grounds of Grace, and Fun Day on the Grounds of Grace, where they're going to have all kind of moonwalk slides and
that's gonna be fun.
hot dogs and corn dogs and cotton candy.
You can't eat all that damn fast.
Well, I'm not going to eat all of it, but I'm going to taste some of it.
Okay. Okay.
I got to maintain my figure.
Okay.
Oh, really? I mean, you barely laugh?
No, that's it. Okay, I got it. Heard.
Go figure.
All right, so y'all, this has been a glorious time with you, and I appreciate your time and your attention. And you guys know where to find them. Of course, you know where to find us, The House of Wealth _ on Instagram as well as YouTube. I'm gonna ask Pastor to pray us out. Make sure you pray over the businesses and the children if you can.
Right.
And we're good.
God, we thank you for this day, and I thank you for the House of Wealth. And I, first of all, thank you for allowing us to come together today. And I pray blessings upon the House of Wealth, God, that you would increase get in every way, God, with clientele, with people, God, who are interested in, God, this great endeavor of the house of wealth. God, teach us. For your word says you give us power to get wealth. And so, God, I thank you now in advance for the increase that you're getting ready to do. I pray, God, for our young people everywhere today, God. They're mentally, spiritually, God. I pray that you would bless them, God. I pray you would help us to be instruments in their lives so we can usher them into the change that's needed, God, in their lives. God, help us to lead them to a positive life, a closer relationship with you. And God, teach them how to just look up and live, God, and never give up, never quit. God, I pray for entrepreneurs all over who are listening to us. You will bless their business, give them insight, God, give them wisdom, God, give them strategies and systems that'll change their businesses forever. And we'll forever give you praise. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.